For centuries, the Catholic Church was regarded as the spiritual beacon of Europe. But along with that light, it also built thick walls of dogma. According to the worldview of the medieval church, neither the universe nor human society required scientific explanation. Everything was said to be the result of God's will and divine arrangement. The earth was believed to be the center of the cosmos, with the sun and the stars existing only to serve mankind. In the eyes of the church, people had no need to question or to seek natural laws. They were simply to believe and obey. Yet many pioneering thinkers dared to challenge this belief. When Nicolaus Copernicus introduced the heliocentric theory, proving that Earth was merely one planet orbiting the sun, his work was delayed for decades out of fear of the church's backlash. When Galileo Galilei declared that the universe operated by strict mathematical laws, not merely by the will of God, he was tried by the Inquisition and forced to recant his claims. And when Giordano Bruno dared to say that the universe was infinite, filled with countless worlds, an idea that denied Earth's unique role in church doctrine, he was burned alive in Rome's Campo dei Fiori Square. These figures became symbols of humanity's longing for progress, yet their fates reflected the church's deep resistance and fear in the face of new knowledge. In the shadows of repression, another light began to emerge. According to both historical records and conspiracy theories, a secret society was born, gathering intellectuals, scientists, and those who longed for freedom of thought. They called themselves the Illuminati, the Enlightened Ones. The Illuminati did not merely protect forbidden knowledge. They also challenged the church's monopoly over truth. For that reason, many accounts suggest they quickly became a direct threat to the religious power that had dominated for centuries. And then, in the 18th century, the name Illuminati officially stepped into the light. What had once been just a flicker during the Renaissance had, by the late 1700s, grown into the blazing form of an organized movement. In 1776, in Ingolstadt, Bavaria, law professor Adam Weishaupt founded the Orden der Illuminaten, the Order of the Illuminati, or the Enlightened Ones. Weishaupt grew up in an education system dominated by the church, but over time, he began to see the suffocating grip of dogma. To him, humanity needed a different path, one built on reason, science, and the spirit of enlightenment, not blind faith. The Illuminati that Weishaupt created was designed with a strict secret structure. Members swore oaths of silence, used code names, and operated in carefully organized ranks. Its members included intellectuals, nobles, and even government officials within Bavaria's court. But they were not content with study alone. The Illuminati carried a political ambition to break the monopoly of both the church and monarchy, and replace it with a society rooted in fairness and freedom of thought. It was this very ambition that quickly marked them as a direct threat to the authority of the church. From the very beginning, the Illuminati carried with it a worldview that stood in complete opposition to the church. Where the church was built on faith, dogma, and obedience, the Illuminati championed reason, science, and individual freedom. First, there was the clash between religious faith and scientific reason. The church insisted that the universe functioned according to the will of God, and humanity's role was simply to believe and obey. The Illuminati believed the opposite. that the universe followed objective laws, laws that could be discovered through mathematics and science. Instead of waiting for divine will, they argued that mankind must take control of its destiny through knowledge. Second, came the divide between the monopoly on truth and the freedom of thought. The church declared it held absolute truth, condemning all opposing ideas as heresy. The Illuminati countered that no one could claim ownership of truth. Ideas must be debated, tested, and constantly renewed. Third, there was the struggle between hierarchical power and intellectual equality. The church's structure was built on strict hierarchy, from the Pope down to the common believer. The Illuminati, however, promoted equality in the pursuit of knowledge. Within their secret order, every member had the right to question, debate, and learn, regardless of social status. This sowed the seeds of modern democratic thought. Fourth was the battle between divine authority and political freedom. The church allied closely with monarchies, legitimizing rulers as divinely appointed. The Illuminati rejected this, claiming true authority must come from the people, based on reason and justice. Many believe these ideals helped inspire the great revolutions of the 18th century. Finally, there was the contrast between unchanging tradition and the spirit of progress. The church clung to tradition, preserving its doctrines as eternal foundations. The Illuminati insisted that knowledge must evolve without end. What was considered true today might need to change tomorrow. And that very idea posed a direct threat to the church's authority, which relied on permanence and control. According to historical records, the Illuminati held secret gatherings where they discussed philosophy, science, and politics. Members used code names and special symbols to avoid detection. Many of them were also Freemasons, which allowed the Illuminati to expand their influence across Europe. Some accounts even suggest they sought to influence educational systems, planting the seeds of enlightenment in a new generation of intellectuals. But the growth of the Illuminati could not remain hidden forever. Their secret meetings, the circulation of radical essays, and their growing ties with the nobility began to alarm both the church and the ruling powers. To the authorities, the Illuminati were no longer just a harmless secret society. They were a potential fuse, an explosive force that could ignite revolutions, topple thrones and altars, and shatter the centuries-old order. Rumors of the enlightened ones spread rapidly, and suspicion soon hardened into a determination to destroy them. In 1785, under pressure from the church and the Bavarian government, a decree was issued. The Illuminati were outlawed. What followed was a fierce crackdown. Adam Weishaupt was forced into exile. Many members were arrested, their writings confiscated, their networks dismantled. The purge was not only an attempt to eliminate a secret order, but also to extinguish the faint spark of enlightenment that had just begun to glow. On the surface, the secret order seemed to vanish. But for many, it was this very persecution that transformed the Illuminati into legend. No longer present in public life, they retreated fully into the shadows, nurturing stories of a hidden power that continued to exist. After the brutal crackdown of the late 18th century, the Illuminati appeared to disappear from mainstream society. Yet modern conspiracy theories argue that this was only the surface. In reality, the order never dissolved. It evolved into a covert force with global ambitions. The most famous theory calls it the New World Order. According to this idea, the Illuminati are quietly building a global system in which governments, institutions, and even the lives of ordinary people are subject to invisible control. Believers in this theory claim that the Illuminati infiltrated major institutions, finance, from the U.S. Federal Reserve to international banks, and powerful dynasties like the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, politics. Figures such as George Washington, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and even later U.S. presidents and European leaders have all been rumored to have ties. Culture and entertainment. Pop stars like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Madonna, and Rihanna are often accused of being tools or symbols of the Illuminati, using the triangle hand sign, covering one eye, or including pyramid imagery in their music videos. The symbols that help reinforce the existence of the Illuminati. First, the all-seeing eye. Appearing atop the pyramid on the US $1 bill, many view it as a symbol of God's watchful gaze. But in Illuminati lore, the eye represents ultimate knowledge and human awakening. It is not divinity, but enlightened reason that can truly see through and guide humanity. Some believe the Illuminati left this symbol as a mark, a reminder that all visible power is overseen by invisible intellect. Second, the unfinished pyramid. Its floating capstone, separated from the base, is often seen as a metaphor for the world's hierarchical order. For the Illuminati, the pyramid symbolizes the upward journey of knowledge, from the wide foundation of humanity to the peak of enlightenment. The fact that the capstone remains unfinished is interpreted as a declaration that the Illuminati's mission is not yet complete. Third, the Owl of Minerva. Sacred to the goddess Athena, the owl was honored by the Illuminati as an emblem of wisdom dwelling in the shadows. In their view, true understanding emerges only when humanity dares to face the darkness of ignorance. By leaving depictions of the owl across European architecture, the Illuminati seem to whisper a message. Wisdom shines brightest only after the night has been endured. And finally, the five-pointed star. Since ancient times, the star has symbolized harmony between humanity and the cosmos. Its 5 points representing earth, water, fire, air, and spirit. For the Illuminati, it was proof that mankind is not bound by divine authority, but can achieve balance with the universe through knowledge and freedom. Some scholars suggest that the Illuminati intentionally preserved this symbol as a challenge to the church. Even when branded as a mark of sorcery, the star continues to shine, affirming that truth cannot be buried forever. More than 2 centuries have passed since the Illuminati was officially outlawed. Yet mysterious symbols, haunting theories, and endless rumors suggest that this secret society has never truly died in the imagination of humankind. For scholars, the Illuminati was nothing more than a small secret order, briefly alive, then gone. But in the eyes of the public, it has become a symbol of hidden power, and more than that, a symbol of reason standing against dogma. On one side stands the church, representing absolute faith, rigid doctrine, and the belief that every order of the world is divinely ordained. On the other side stands the Illuminati, or at least in conspiracy lore, representing science, knowledge, and the human thirst for enlightenment, daring to question and daring to break the chains of superstition. This clash is not just a story of the past, it is a metaphor for the present, when humanity still finds itself standing between two paths, one of blind faith and one of awakened reason. So, is it all just myth, born out of fear and imagination? Or does the Illuminati truly exist, still leaving its marks through symbols and historical tremors? As the eternal rival of the church, we may never know the truth. But one thing is certain: the story of the Illuminati will continue to live on, like a shadowy ghost, drifting between history and legend, between faith and reason. And the final question left for humanity is this: is the Illuminati the greatest myth in history, or the most dangerous truth the world has yet to face?